So what's the Get Down?
Hip hop culture lifestyle show.
MCing is part of a culture where you become a master of ceremony, or if you may, a mic controller, and you know how to rock a crowd, rather it be call and response or rather it be lyrically. You know how to rock a crowd. A rapper is someone that rhymes, so that means that Dr. Seuss is a rapper. You know.
All right, that being said, when it comes to freestyling, what are the different levels of that, or is it just one?
When it comes to freestyle, well, I mean, I guess that really depends on the person's definition of freestyle, because where I come from in the 80s, and as explained to me by the creators, Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, you know, freestyle is a rhyme that you write free of style. It's about no subject matter. You're not telling no story about, you know, girls. You're not telling no story about poverty. Mm-hmm. It's not a conscious rhyme about, you know, staying healthy or being good. You know, you're not telling a story about, you know, baby mama drama. You just basically just rhyming free of style, you know, bragging and boasting about yourself pretty much. And it's a written rhyme. That's why they call it a freestyle. Now, nowadays, the younger generation call it freestyle. What they refer to freestyle is what we referred to back in the days as off the dome. Well, in the 80s, we called it off the dome. Caz and Mel said in the 70s, they called it off the top. But anywho, it's like, you know, to me, I think that, you know, if we're talking about, you know, writing a freestyle, I think that, you know, a real MC gonna be good at that, you know, and that's something that you gonna have on stash, you know, just in case, you know, you got the battle or whatever the case may be. And then plus you wanna let people know just how dope you are. So I think freestyles are very important, you know. Now, if you're talking about off the dome, I mean, I think that, you know, if you're a battle rapper, it's a good thing to have where you can look at someone and know how to tear them apart just, you know, instantaneously. You know, I think that that's a good thing to have.
So do you prefer, because you're a battle rapper as well as, you know what I'm saying, me, just an overall artist. So which did you prefer more? Was it the battling or was it more being an artist?
When I was younger, I preferred battling. Like that was really priority, but you know, that's all I knew. But I that's what I preferred when I was younger. Once I met Biz Markie and started doing shows with him and got an understanding of the music scene and a taste of the spotlight, I really wanted to transform into an artist, you know. So, but even as I became an artist, I still tried to enjoy the best of both worlds. Because it's I don't know, it's just nothing like, you know, that feeling of, you know, putting that fear in an MC when you know, you come on his block or whatever to battle him, you know. Yeah.
So you came up in an era where, I mean, come on, man, it songs like you, Coogee, you know, you came up with in an era where I don't even want to use the term biting, but it was all about individuality. Does that bother you as far as how the trends have changed since when you were originally doing it?
The way hip hop is now, as opposed to how it was back in the days, I mean, yeah, there was so much diversity back in the days, and you had a whole lot of different artists that sounded completely different, where as opposed to now, everyone pretty much sound the same. But I mean, you know, honestly, that doesn't bother me, because if that's where you want to be in your life, then I nothing but respect for you. You know, I just will say this, that, you know, that individuality, that uniqueness that you can have can be that thing that saves your career and gives you longevity, because you don't sound like no one else. So I mean, if that's what you're looking for, if you're in this game for longevity and that stay power, I would say that it would be better for you to try to do something unique as opposed to following the trend, because when the trend gone, you gone. When it comes to, the real lyricists as opposed to the mainstream artists, it's always been the type of thing where the mainstream artists find more success than the lyricists. That's always been the case. Even back, when I first came out, you had artists like myself, Rakim, Karis One, but there were more successful artists like Hammer, Will Smith, Vanilla Ice, Young MC, and I mean, that's pretty much a normal thing in music, because I mean, you look back in the days, as dope as Marvin Gaye is, and you have so many people that will say that he's the greatest singer alive, I mean, then you have so many people tell you that Marvin Gaye is the greatest singer alive, but you compare Marvin Gaye to Michael Jackson. Michael had more commercial success and sold way more albums and was a much bigger star. So I mean, that's a normal thing, I mean, but I guess it comes down to, it's like, okay, what you trying to do? You trying to be successful, or you trying to showcase your talent, your skill. And when you listen to albums like What's Going On, Let's Get It On, After the Dance, better yet, Here My Dear, you know that Marvin was someone that wanted to showcase his skills. That was a soul singer that wanted to showcase his skills. Michael was someone that, wanted to be successful, wanted to be the biggest singer ever. And he achieved that, I think that if you really want to be a well-rounded artist, then, you have to know how to really make a good song, be able to say something that sticks, in the head of your listeners, be a great performer, and have a look that people want to
emulate.
Yeah, emulate. So I think that all of those things are very important if you really want to be that well-rounded artist. I mean, I think there's artists that, that's really about, getting the bag, and, they just follow what's trendy, what works, to rapidly, get that bread. And I don't really see what's wrong with that, If there's a possibility for someone to come out of the hood and use something to become rich and successful and be able to feed their family, man, more power to you. I don't have no problem with that. I don't have no problem whatsoever, I mean, I hate to see situations where radio and the media make it where this is all we want to mess with, and they don't acknowledge or support real, true talent that's really trying to speak from the heart. I condemn them, radio and, social media, for only supporting those type of artists, only trying to make them blow up. That's who I condemn. But the artist trying to do what he got to do to get that bag so he can feed his family, nah, man, more power to you, man. I wish you the best.
Do you believe there's a ageism? Like, because we call it, Nupius, we call it no school. We don't believe in the genres and all of that right there. If you dope, you dope. Because you can still go right now.
You goddamn right. Well, I feel that in hip hop, we have been critical on a lot of our mature artists and put an expiration date on them, because I don't really hear nobody saying, like people say R&B legend Patti LaBelle, rock and roll legend Rod Stewart, pop legend Madonna, blues legend B.B. King. But when it comes to hip hop, old school artists Big Daddy Kane, old school artists LL Cool J, So it's like you put an expiration date, because it's like ain't no half stepping. That's an old school song. Raw, that's an old school song, man. Those joints is over 30 years old, man. They old school songs, Just like if only you knew, if only you knew, for like Patti LaBelle, or Turn Off the Lights from Teddy Pendergrass. Those are old school songs. Borderline for Madonna, that's an old school song. But you don't label them that way. You label them as legends or icons. In hip hop, we call artists old school, and it don't even have to be someone like me. Right now they call Tupac old school. They call Eminem old school. They call Jay-Z old school. So it's like you putting an expiration date on these artists. And I mean, it's like, yeah, I have old school songs, but as far as me being an old school artist, come on and step in the booth with me. We figure that shit out.
Indeed. Me and you were chopping it up about pay homage to those that came before, you know what I mean? And none of the
we had our early pioneers, starting with DJ Hollywood, and going on to Eddie Chiba, Coke La Rock, Love Bug Starsky, Keith Cowboy, these cats that that started something as far as MCing goes. And I mean, they all were unique, and this was something brand new that they introduced to the world. And there was a lot of people that took to it, man, and wanted to be involved. But there was just one person that took to it and saw something different. And that's the person that I think is the architect of MCing, the architect of MCing. That being Melly Mel. Because he didn't do the Hollywood thing. He didn't do the Love Bug Starsky thing. Melly Mel was spitting, in a more ferocious way. He modernized the style, designed it, created different topics, and I mean, because of Melly Mel, we have Kumo D, we have Big Daddy Kane, we have Rakim, KRS, Tupac Shakur, Jay-Z, Biggie, Eminem, Nas, etc., because of the style that Mel created. So the architect of MCing is definitely Melly Mel, hands down. That shit ain't even debatable, I mean, I know a lot of people like to debate who was the first MC and all that deal. Knock yourself out. But as far as the architect, Mel, hands down.
So whenever everybody spit the same way with the hit the head before Mel, correct? Mel never spit like that back when he was with the Furious Five?
I can't say that.
All right.
I don't know if Mel may have started off saying, he may have started off saying that. It was like, nah, fuck this is whack. And decided to do so. I don't know. You know, I don't know Mel's story. You would have to ask him.
Right.
You know, but I know that the first MC I heard to really, really like rhyme, like the way we started rhyming in the 80s was Mel. I've heard Kumo D say it. I've heard Dougie Fresh say it, and many others. Even Hollywood, you know, said it. You know that Mel changed it. You know, so I've heard, you know, the brothers that was there, you know, from the beginning, you know, give Mel his flowers. So yeah, that's that dude. Mel is the dude.
You know, it's interesting. You said.
Matter of fact,
go ahead.
If you listen to the song Step Off, Mel said, I was born to be the king of the bebop swing, wear stallions and medallions, big diamond rings, own a castle on a yacht, cool million in gold, because rap is the game that I control. I'm like Shakespeare, I'm a pioneer, because I made rap something people wanted to hear. See, before my reign, it was the same old saying, that bomb diddly bomb, the little street talk game. So he even explained it on his own song.
I'm hearing Mel has a big influence on you. So where did you find that medium at to go ahead and bring it the way that you bring it?
Well, I mean, honestly speaking, I mean, with me, you know, I was just I'm not even going to sit here in front. Like I was a big Grandmaster Caz fan. I idolized Caz, you know. I idolized Grandmaster Caz. I thought he was, you know, the hottest thing since cooked food, you dig? So, I mean, you know, I really studied that dude, you know, like someone in class dissecting a frog, man. You dig? You know, so, I mean, that's the type of respect I have for Caz and the attention that I paid to him and his unique style.
Is it more meaningful for you as an MC, the MC, to go ahead and have something to say versus doing the, you know what I mean, just the freestyle?
For me, it's more, I mean, I think it's important to have something to say. Like, I'm 52 years old, and ain't nothing like seeing someone come up to you and say, yo, man, your music got me through high school. Your music got me through college. I was stationed in Kuwait, and your music got me through my time there. To know that, you know, someone going through something, struggling with something, or just trying to build, and my music played a part. That's like, that mean like, yo, job well done, kid. Job well done. So therefore, you know, what I do and what I say, it means a lot to me because I understand the impact, and I don't want it to be where I'm, you know, it's something bad. I don't want to look up and see someone on the news saying I was listening to that Kane shit before I shot the spot up.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Do you believe there's a difference now between hip hop culture and hip hop? Because now they call it.
There's definitely a difference between hip hop and hip hop culture. Because, see, back in the days, hip hop was only a culture. Even after Rapper's Delight, it was still just a culture. Yeah, people getting record deals, people getting signed, people getting advances, people getting videos, people going on tour. But still everyone coming in the industry wanted to be the dopest MC. But once hip hop was accepted as an official music genre and became the biggest genre, where now it's selling more records than pop and rock and roll.
That's facts.
You have to understand the standpoint of an artist. Because there's so many pop artists, so many rock artists, they can't sing for shit, but they big stars. But they didn't get in the business to be the best singer. they got in the business to be celebrities.
Dig that.
So you can't be mad if someone gets into hip hop to be a celebrity, because it's a music genre now. It's more than just a culture. If you about hip hop culture, embrace hip hop culture, and that's what you look for, that's what you fuck with. You ain't with that, then don't fuck with it. You know? And if you want to elevate it, then don't just sit there and listen to a song. Take a goddamn job at the radio station. You know, become a major social media mogul and build that platform for what you consider real hip hop.
Dig that. So you saying it's a lane for everybody?
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, it got to be at this point.
You don't feel it was like that back in the day? 'Cause
No, it wasn't like that back in the day, because like I said,
no,
you
I'm
know,
not talking about the bread. I'm talking about as far as
No.
none of y'all were doing the same thing.
No. What I mean, I'm talking about as far as back then, everybody was getting into it to be the dopest MC or the dopest DJ. So it was still about the culture
Right.
back then.
Right.
Because it wasn't a real genre.
I dig that.
You know what I'm saying? Radio stations and record companies didn't really give a fuck about us. They was trying to figure this whole hip hop thing out and hoping that it'll fade away.
Damn. Yeah, they did call it a fad. That being said, do you believe that because y'all all knew how to do different stuff. Y'all knew more than one element of hip hop back then. Do you believe that that's important? You know, to know more phases of hip hop? Like you started off as a DJ, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very important to know different elements in hip hop. I think this is very important, you know? Because, I mean, when you enter into that artist stage, understanding how you want to set your show up, knowing how to correspond with your DJ, you know, all that comes easy if you have an understanding of DJing, breakdancing, you know, whatever, you know, even with the graph, you know, like, okay, where you want to go with your backdrop, what you trying to do, you know, so, you know, understanding all the elements, yeah, man, I think it's very important.
Can you speak a little bit about how you was talking about the structure, you know what I mean, of songs and how that came about?
I mean, as far as the structure of hip hop songs, I mean, it's like, you know, you had cats that rocked at a park jam and they get on the mic and they rhyme. But then, you know, you had, you know, certain select crews that was doing their thing and they were doing routines and whatnot. When Rapper's Delight came out, you had 3 MCs that got on the mic and just rhymed. And that's the first rap song we heard, you know, Sugar Hill Gang just rhyming and passing the mic to one another. But when the Furious Five made super rapping, they had a structure. Like they came on, you know, with an intro, introduced themselves, went into their routine stuff, and then broke off into their individual freestyles, and then into more routine. It was like it was structured so crazy, and that's how hip hop songs started its structure based off of super rapping. Or that's how we started structuring songs, because they created something that, you know, because like hip hop wasn't, you know, made for records, and they created a song structure for hip hop. And you know, I think the Sylvia Rome, you know, after super rapping, she saw that and ran with it, and you know, that's how she started, you know, having them structure songs. But then, you know, I mean, Furious Five went to Sugar Hill afterwards. You know, and you know, you ain't got to teach the creator how to, you know, their formula. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got, you ain't got to tell Domino how to make sugar.
Word up. You spanned a lot of different places and a lot of different times. Who did you enjoy, you know, working with the most?
I probably enjoyed working with Barry White the most. You know, I mean, he was just cool as a fan, and we sit, me and B-Dub would sit and just, talk shit and swallow spit, man, throughout the day and just vibe, and it was just good vibes, and we had so much in common. So, Barry would probably be one of my favorites that either Barry White or Dougie Fresh. I learned a whole lot from Dougie Fresh. He's always been like a mentor to me and someone that I've always respected and looked up to. And we just have a special bond. And then there's certain, because like Doug is a certain kind of dude. He's a real humble dude. But, sometimes, he'll pick my brain about certain things where he feel like he might have to approach something differently. And we just have a special bond because we have a lot in common, but we do things different.
I know hip hop is ego driven, but was it one of those type of things where it was like, yo, don't come in this space, don't come in that, that space, kind of like how it was, when, Death Row and all of that, was coming about. Did y'all have any type of, not beef, but just more of a situation where it was like, yo.
You said y'all who?
I'm talking about just that era. Just that era of
I mean, there was cats back then that had drama with one another, but it was like, it was hip hop,
So it was regular stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't like nobody, pulling out guns or trying to kill one another. It was like, we gonna go at it with each other. We gonna battle, or we gonna, diss each other on records or whatever. It was that type of thing, They always kept it hip hop. It never became a contact sport.
So when they say that hip hop is a young man's game, do you think that's where the contact come in?
No, I don't think the contact, like becoming a contact sport, happened because hip hop became a young man's game. I think that it became a contact sport because this new generation, they can't take a verbal ass whipping. Talking to a young cat, man, I would tell him to be unique, man. Give your fan base the real you. Make them embrace you, understand you, so that that's what they're connected to, and not just what's trendy. Because when the trend is gone, you gone. And I would tell them to, make sure that you talking about something that they want to hear. I mean, of course, yeah, get that hot ass track, but don't depend on the track. You don't want someone coming up saying, yo, you heard that new such and such song? Yeah, Kanye did it. Okay, Kanye just got props. You ain't get none. You want them talking about, yo, you heard such and such new track? Yo, that dude said, now they quoting your lyrics, man. So now it's about you, not the producer. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that. And most importantly, when you get into this music business, understand that those are two words, music, business. So as much as you taking care of the music side, take care of the business side.
Yo, that's Big Daddy Kane. That is what it is. What's the Get Down?
I'm on that brainwash, full rollout, anonymous. Underplay the overplay, strategic, I promise. More dope brings more Negroes. Watch them heroes, pro lethal. Dream killers feast on people. Nubians in need, mine on the hunt. Paul Bear, sharp fluid gates and piston bumps. No excuses, that's a sin. Back to the begin. Muscle memory, pseudo respect and revenge. Plays blindfolded, a bucket list with interest. Forgiveness, the shadows and mirrors who handle business. Legacy, all grind, no guest list. Land in jurisdiction, make you bread prejudice. For the purists and the tourists, Q sticky for ghetto jurors. Swing high, swing low, you forgot that we do this. Bank selection, smooth DR vibe. Underground icon, you have now been gentrified.